Rabbi of mine, Assistant Rabbi Michael Bernstein, Secular Division of Chabad of Pacific Heights. Please say a few words. Good evening. As Moishi just mentioned, I am the Assistant Rabbi, Secular Division. I represent the secular wing of Chabad of Pacific Heights. And I think it's appropriate, being the secular representative that I say, I wanted to just comment on something Rabbi Langer and George Zimmer said earlier, that we have been divisive as a community, but we should remember that we still are mishpacha, we are still our family. I want to just briefly tell you, I have had a fractious relationship with my brother my whole life. And who among us have not had quarrels with their brothers or sisters?
No one.
He has caused me some heartache in my life. I'm sure I have caused him some as well. But my brother had a medical problem. They found something, and he had to have a biopsy yesterday. He called me to ask me if I would pick him up. I went to pick him up, and I was driving to UCSF to pick him up. It hit me that as much heartache as he has caused me in my life, it's not 1/100th of the heartache I would feel if I lost him. And so I say, as much heartache as it may have caused us to argue and differ with those among our Jewish community, it would be a horrible, horrible event. It would be a tragedy if it meant that we no longer had each other. We no longer had our family. Chabad has been so wonderful to me in times of loss, when I lost my mom, other problems I've had. They've always welcomed me, particularly Talia and Moishi, have allowed me into their home and adopted me as a member of their family. And that is a metaphor for what Chabad does in general. It's always an open door for any Jew, no matter what political view, no matter what geographic location, no matter what age, no matter what gender. It's a welcome mat for all of us. They do great work to try and keep this beautiful aircraft carrier of the Jewish community together, and for that, I thank them.
Good evening. First, I would like to thank all of you for letting me to participate for the first time in my life. I'm 77 in such event. I was born in Ukraine. I spent 54 years of my life back there.
Wow.
We've been prohibited to be religious.
Yes.
Maybe some of us you know. Because if you are religious, you have to hide it, otherwise you can be put in the prison.
Right.
So now I am in America. But it's not that easy to become a religious. To be religious is not just going to synagogue. You have to believe in your soul.
Yes.
And I would not say, I don't know God exists or not, but I do know that people who are good ones, they're gods on the earth. So, my dear, you cannot imagine my feeling, not being religious, but being a part of wonderful Jewish culture, being surrounded building by Jewish people. And what is the most important to me? 80% of all of you, it's young people. Thank you very much. It means it will never ever disappear. And no matter how much they want to kill us, no way. They won't succeed. They will fail. Woo! I was in Israel only for 3 days. And I cried there for 2 times. First time, when I saw on the street young boys and girls with these guns. They were amazing. I was crying. And then in Museum Yad Vashem, did I say right? Yad Vashem. I looked around, I was crying, and I said to myself, never ever again the Jewish people will go to this chamber just with our heads back, down. No way. If we want to die, we'll die all together with our enemies, with our enemies. God bless you. Amen.
In your heart and your soul, I'd like to introduce to you my dear nephew, David. Hatan. He's married to a nice Israeli Jewish girl. Very soon. Give him mazel tov. David comes from a majestic family. The king of that family is Moshe Simchon, who is the commander of the Dixie. The Dixie is a fishing boat that was owned by the Joe DiMaggio family. Since we're all sport groupies, where's the football player? There's a football player over here. Where's that? Anyway, Maury commandeers the Dixie and the Embarcadero. If you ever need a ride, tell him I sent you. And you'll be received graciously for no cost. No cost of the Dixie and whatnot. But I want to introduce you, David. David was a Navy medic in Afghanistan. And he fought in the trenches. And now, he'll tell you the rest of the story. My beloved nephew, David. He has a nephew, brother.
What an introduction, huh? So I served with about 2,000 Marines, and I was their medic. And I was one of 2 Jews out of 2,000 people serving in my battalion. The one other Jew that was there, I asked him, I was like, oh, you're Jewish. And he was like, oh yeah, my wife is Christina, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, you fell, sir. You have fallen off. So I became my Jewish battalion liaison because we did not have a rabbi. Like there was we had a priest in Afghanistan and somebody representing the Christian faith, but we didn't have anybody representing the Jewish faith. So I talked to my battalion commander and I said, well, apparently I'm the only Jew, so I guess I'll represent myself. And I did. And I remember like Pesach in Afghanistan where I was getting matzah. And I was eating matzah over there by myself mostly. The Afghans didn't really understand what it was. They just thought it was a cracker. But, you know, it was an amazing experience to be able to carry on from what I could from my uncle's teachings, being able to be in Afghanistan and celebrate Pesach in Afghanistan. And the funny thing is, they didn't even know what a Jew was. most of the Afghans I talked to, I said, hey, yeah, I'm Jewish. And they're like, yes, you're Christian. No, sir, you're skewed a little bit. Not Christian. No, I am Jewish. And I would explain to them time after time. They were, of the Muslim faith, and they did not understand. They didn't really get it. They just didn't know. It's not like normal built-up society that we all think about. It was people living in small, far-off villages, tiny little villages that have never met a Jew. And thinking about the idea of somebody that's never met a Jew or knows what a Jew is, it was extremely interesting talking to these people.
Christ was a Jew.
That's true. But he wasn't. Full circle, coming back around, I got out of the military a year and a half ago, after 6 years, coming back home, being able to be with my family again, being able to celebrate the seder. It's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm getting engaged to an amazing Israeli woman that I met. Don't cross her. Don't cross Gab. Okay? It's bad news for everybody. But we are getting engaged. I haven't seen her in 7 months. She should be here probably within the next month or two. And then hopefully the marriage will happen thereafter.
Everyone's invited?
Yeah, everybody's invited. I just want to say, L'chaim, thank you to you. Thank you, Moshe. I love you, Dad. Grandma. My grandmother is 92 years old. Come on! Hak Sameach.
Good evening, everybody, and Hak Sameach.
Hak Sameach.
I haven't seen you in a really long time, and I'm really happy to be here and to celebrate Passover and to be with people I feel like are family to me. So I just want to say thank you to Chabad SF and everybody who is involved in making this a really great experience and really awesome to live in San Francisco. So thank you and Hak Sameach.